Hey everybody, I hope you're having a good Thursday. I am going to, before we get started, just make sure everything is working because it's always a bummer to record a video and answer people's questions and then not have audio or have it not work at all. So we're gonna get that taken care of. If you're watching live, or I guess anyone watching now is probably watching the replay, right? So if you're watching the replay, please feel free to still chime in with questions that you have of your own or anything like that. I'll always come back and answer your questions. Even if it is after the fact. So let me just make sure we're working before we get started. We have some really great questions that have come in today. If you have any questions as you watch, please feel free to add them as well, and I will still answer. Let me make sure I can hear myself. Yeah, we are good to go. So we have 3 awesome questions that were submitted ahead of time that I'm going to answer. Like I said, feel free to plop your own in as well. But we're going to start with the easiest one to answer, and that is setting up your speaker information page. So I think it is very important that you have a dedicated page to information for your speakers. And you want that ready when you're pitching them instead of pitching them with no information and expecting them to give you a good answer. That's just not going to happen. So having a page dedicated to all the information they need is really going to help with that. So what you should have on it, I guess I do want to add, if getting this page ready is going to really hold you back, it's slowing down your timeline, all that stuff, you can also make a PDF of this information as well. I just feel like if you're already going to be making a whole bunch of stuff for the website for your summit, why not just put it on there instead of going through the work of creating this separate PDF and all of that stuff. So that's that. What to include on this page. So first, I think it's important to just have some casual information at the beginning that has information on the summit, an introduction to what it's all about, and just share your excitement, and then let them know what to expect on the rest of that page. Instead of diving right into nitty-gritty details, give it a little intro, give them time to warm up to the idea, and give them an idea of what your goal for the summit is and how they fit into that. That can be really helpful. Then you, of course, want to include details on the summit. So when is it? How is it going to work? Where do their presentations fit in? Are there any extra pieces going on, like a Facebook group or anything like that? Give them all the details for the summit. Even if you think it's too much, I recommend including it, because if it is too much, they'll just skim that section, And I'm the type of person who loves details. The more, the better. So include as much as you can on that. Then you want to go into what you will need from them. Now, this is also something you want to include in your pitch email, but so they don't have to go reference that email all the time, it's helpful to also have it on this page. Just you can either do a bulleted list of what you need from them. I actually like to include more information than that. So I'll have each individual piece and then a description and deadlines underneath that. So they have everything they need. They don't have to worry about asking questions. Let's see here. Okay, cool. The next thing I like to include are affiliate details. So your speakers should have the opportunity to make affiliate commissions through the attendees they refer to your summit. So you want to have the details of that. What are the commission levels? What are the price points that are going to be offered? Where can they go to set up their account and then access it after it is set up? Make that really, really clear. Don't make them dig for that information. Also include resources. This is the most important section if you want your speakers to share about your summit. So you need to have all kinds of resources for them. Things like swipe copy, and not just one format. You want swipe copy for emails, for long form social media posts, like for Instagram and Facebook, for short form like Twitter, and maybe a little for Instagram stories if you want them adding text to the graphics. I've never done that, but it's just something else to think about. You also want a whole bunch of graphic options. And remember, there are going to be some people who are very picky about the types of graphics they're posting on their accounts. So you want several different color options, several different aesthetics for them to choose from. And along with the graphics, I think it's really great to include not only just promo graphics for the summit itself, but graphics that focus on each individual speaker. That's going to make them really likely to want to grab their graphic and share it on their account. Let's see, what other resources? I like to include a promo schedule for them. So what exact dates should you send each email? Should you post each thing on social media? Giving them those things allows them to take that information, hand it off to their VA, and not worry about it. And that makes it so much more likely that they're going to share, especially if you didn't give them anything. Even being as into summits as I am, if someone had me as a speaker in the summit and didn't give me any swipe copy, I probably wouldn't share, So the easier you can make it for them, the more likely they'll be to share. And then the last thing I like to include is a schedule and a to-do list. I actually include the to-do list right on the site, text on the page. And then I also make a PDF that they can check things off in the PDF. And the due dates are just a good thing to have. Include calendar links so they can add the due dates to their Google Calendar or whatever. But make those things really easy for them to find. They have one spot they can go in and glance at it all. And then last, give them a place to reach out with questions. It seems really obvious, they'll just email me. But if they've read through that page and are like, I can't find information on this, it's just nice to have that last line at the bottom. If you still have questions, reach out to me here. So this can go right on your summit's website, whether you have a separate website for your summit, or if you are doing it all on an existing website you have for your business, no problem. I use the Beaver Builder plugin to just build it out really easy. It's drag and drop. You can make things really pretty, really quickly. So that's how I do it. If you have any other questions about your speaker information page, let me know. But we are going to move on to question number 2. And that is just communicating with speakers. Communicating with your speakers is all about organization and keeping them up to date and engaged. If your speakers are not kept up to date, they're not hearing from you, they are not going to be engaged with your event, they're going to be way less likely to share, they're not going to be excited about it, they're not going to care about it anymore by the time the event actually rolls around. So I do this all through a speaker Facebook group. Personally, I much prefer the casual interaction of a Facebook group than being bombarded with emails. I hate being in my inbox. That's why I go with the group. And this applies to me both as a speaker and as a host. As a host, I would much rather have one spot I can go, tell them what I need to tell them, link to things I need to link to, and have one place to go with questions. They can all see each other's questions and my answers. It's just a nice general place. And then versus email, where they each be responding individually. People feel like they need to respond and say thank you, or sounds good, even though that's not necessary, stuff like that. And as a speaker, I really hate getting long, 3-page long, 3 pages of text in an email format with all these things go do this, go do this, go do this. I'm that takes a lot of time. So as a speaker, I prefer bite-sized pieces in posts in a Facebook group. That's my preference. I know not everyone is the same. If you would rather manage your speakers through email, please do that. Everything I'm gonna say still applies for the most part. It does make it a little harder to kind of casually update them, because they're gonna check their email and be like, why did you email me that? Where in a Facebook group, it gets them excited to see stuff like that. But that's up to you. There are summits I've been a part of where the host does a very good job managing everybody through email. So I have my entire speaker Facebook group strategy, including scripts and my posting schedule for the group, a tutorial for setting it all up, a strategy, training video, all that stuff inside of the Summit Host Vault. If you are not a Vault member and you're interested in this, check it out. It's summitinabox.co/vault. I have everything in there you need to set up your Facebook group and actually have it work. But really, you want to communicate with your speakers other than just when you need something from them. You don't want to be constantly asking them for things, because that's going to get them trained to dread hearing from you. If they know every time they see something from you, whether it's in your Facebook group or in email, they're going to need to go do something. So I like to balance that all out by giving them updates of the summit. During the promo period and during the summit, I give them a full update of the numbers, the signups, the income, affiliate payouts, everything at least once a week. Before the summit starts, I'm always updating them hey, here's this new thing that I've put into place. Here's this new thing I decided to add. That just gets them engaged and excited, and it makes them feel like they're more than just someone who is going to send you traffic. I also like to give my speakers shout outs. So, the first person that sends their presentation is going to get a shout out. If I'm watching one and someone has a really good point, I'll give them a shout out. If there are during the summit, if attendees are going nuts about certain presentations, I'll go in the Facebook group and, celebrate with them. So it's just a really nice place to be able to do that stuff where you couldn't really do it in email. So updates, resources, and reminders, those are all things you want to communicate with your speakers in whatever way you feel is best for you. So let me know if you have questions on communicating with your speakers. And then the last question here is a really good one, and this was kind of fun for me to brainstorm on. And that was, the question was, let's say we have a really limited budget. What would be a strict minimum if you want to organize a successful summit with a VIP or all access pass option on a WordPress site? So I spent quite a bit of time looking into this, and my answer is under $500. And actually what I was able to, the concrete things I was able to find were under $300, which is pretty exciting. But even though I took a whole bunch of time to go through all my resources, my website, I'm still worried that I'm missing something. So I'm giving us a little wiggle room by saying a $500 budget is all you need. Now, of course, this is assuming you are already running a business on a WordPress website and can use a lot of the resources you already have. It is assuming that you are not going to use any team members to do it, which I don't necessarily recommend, but if you're on a budget, don't hire people to help. It's assuming you can learn it all yourself and don't need resources. Again, don't necessarily recommend it, but I am biased because I have my Summit Host Vault and the Summit Host Process Map, which would save you so much time and stress, but you can figure it out on your own just like I did, so you wouldn't have to spend anything there. You can run paid ads to reach more people, but you don't have to do that. And I'll talk about a few other things that you can swap out free versions for, but to cover the things that you would want to pay for, again, this is assuming you already have a WordPress website. So everything related to domains and hosting and other plugins would be free. I do think it would be worth to pay $10 to $20 to purchase a custom domain, even if it's just to redirect that domain to your current website. But it's not absolutely necessary. So, that is up to you. So the two things that I was able to find that you would need to pay for are a reliable membership plugin to host your VIP pass. Yes, there are free options out there. I don't necessarily think it's worth it to try to piece something together and hope that it works. So I use LearnDash, which is $159 per year. So $159 per summit, assuming you're running one summit per year. And then an affiliate plugin, because it is totally worth spending a little money to get speakers and affiliates to actually want to share and make you even more money. So I use Affiliate WP, which is $99 a year. So those literally are my only two expenses that you have to pay for. Now, I pay for a lot of other things because to me, it's worth it to have really good tools and make it really easy on myself. So I outsource a whole bunch of stuff to my team. I do run paid ads that totally are worth it. By the way, you get a lot of return for your ads if they're done right. And I use a lot of paid plugins. So to give you some ideas of the things I pay for that you can use for free, Page Builder plugin. So I use a paid version of the Beaver Builder plugin on my WordPress site, but they have a free version that you could totally get by with. I use a paid chat box option for my speakers and attendees to chat in during the summit. I use Chatroll, but you can use Chatango, which is a free option. Again, the experience that plugin gives is a little iffy. I used it for my first summit. It was actually the biggest complaint people had, even though it did work. There's just a few annoying little quirks. You can use it for free, and it's not going to ruin the overall, effect that your summit has. For a countdown timer to limit the time of my All Access Pass and price increases and all that stuff, I use Deadline Funnel, but you can use a plugin called Hurry Timer that I've heard works really well. For cart software, you could totally use WooCommerce for free. There's nothing else I would actually recommend for WordPress. For video hosting, I use Vimeo just because I like all their embed options and things like that. You could do, private videos on YouTube or whatever those settings are. You can totally host them for free on YouTube. Email marketing platform, again, I'm assuming you already have one for your business that you could use. If you don't, you can still use something free like MailerLite. And for video recording software, you can use Zoom. Even if you're doing interviews, I think you could do 40-minute recorded videos on Zoom without having to pay for it, or you can do your own videos with Loom. So there are swaps everywhere that you can use to make summits really cheap to put on. Like I said, for me, knowing the results my summits are going to get, it's worth it for me to just, pay for some things to make it easier, maybe to make things have a little bit better effect, to take some of the work off of my plate. But you can totally do summits on a budget for less than $300 based on what we went through here. If you do have any questions, you're like, wait, what about this thing? Please drop them in the chat. I would love to talk about this and see if there's anything I missed, but this is all I've been able to think about, which is really exciting. So if you have any other questions, let me know. I'm always happy to answer. If you're watching this on my page and not in the group, definitely join the Summit Host Hangout Facebook group. In there, we're always having just incredible conversations about, getting questions answered, brainstorming on different, things people are working on. And it's a very small but mighty group, and it's just a great place to be. So we would love for you to join us over there. And if you don't have the Summit Host Vault, definitely check it out. I'm always adding new resources to make your summits easy to put on, templates, trainings, tutorials, all kinds of stuff. And you can check that out at summitinabox.co/vault. But let me know if you have any other questions, and thanks for being here.